Hey guys, what's up? My name's Natalie. Welcome back to my channel, Nat's Bookshelf, or if you're new here, welcome. Here we talk about all things bookish and nerdy. Today I am doing a spoiler vlog for Jennette McCurdy's I'm Glad My Mom Died, or should I say I've already done a spoiler vlog, so I am filming a late intro because I just kind of ran with it. But yeah, I'm not going to get into my thoughts on the book because you will hear plenty in this vlog. So, because it's already so long, we're just gonna jump into it, okay? What's up, guys? I'm probably gonna film a different intro for this, but I just wanted to come on here because I am about to start the audiobook for Jennette McCurdy's I'm Glad My Mom Died, and I wanted to do a spoiler vlog. It was supposed to be a different book for this spoiler vlog. However, December hasn't been like the greatest reading month because I'm just so busy with everything else. So this book needs to be listened to before the end of the year. Like, it is one of my most anticipated. I really have been wanting to listen to it. I got the audiobook because it's narrated by her, and I think this is just gonna be one of the most moving memoirs I've ever read. So I'm really excited that I'm doing a spoiler vlog for it, and hopefully I'll do better at it this time than I did with the witching hour. I'll really try. I haven't like gotten up and gotten ready, so yeah, I look a hot mess and it's totally fine. I don't care. What's up, YouTube? But yeah, we're gonna get into this spoiler vlog. I'm about to start it right now while I get up and get ready and clean my house. And I've got a bunch of videos to film because I got way behind on my Bookmas videos and I'm trying to get caught up by Christmas Eve. So yeah, I've got a lot of filming. Next year I'm gonna do Bookmas again, but we are gonna start prepping November 1st because trying to do this all in December is insane. And hopefully next year I'll be better at vlogging. But yeah, so I just wanted to come on here and tell you guys I'm about to start it, and I'm really nervous and I'm really excited, and I know I'm probably gonna cry, and this is me before. I'm sure we'll have some in between and some after shots, so be prepared. But yeah, guys, I will see you in a little bit. Okay, guys, I just finished getting ready, as you can tell, and I've made it to chapter 10, which is not quite an hour into I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jennette McCurdy. And this book is gonna bring out all of the feels. One of my pet peeves is parents pushing their children to work and basically pushing their dreams onto them. And in the very beginning of this book, Jennette McCurdy is describing her childhood, her home, how her mom and dad interact, how they interact with each other, how they interact with her, how they interact with her brothers and already we get the feeling that Jennette is only acting because her mom wants her to. Now, I avoid shows. The main one I can think of is Dance Moms. Those moms make me so angry. I don't know how to describe it. If it's something that makes your kid happy and they want to do it, then by all means encourage them. But forcing your kid to do something because you want them to do it, aside from like chores and stuff like that, no, like let's not go overboard on that, but you get the picture. And that is the vibe that I have from this book. So far, it starts off with Jennette McCurdy at her mom's bedside as she's sick and dying, and her siblings are trying to wake her mom up with great news, thinking that if they say the right thing, her mom will wake up. And the thing that Jennette decides to tell her mom to get her to wake up is that she's so skinny. She's down to 89 pounds, which was her mom's goal weight for her. And it's so heartbreaking to think that that would be what you would want to tell your mom to get her to wake up. That's what would make her so happy. As a parent, I can't even imagine ever talking to my child about weight unless it was interfering with her health. After that point, it goes on to her childhood and her getting into acting and being a background actor, and her mom trying to get her to be a primary actor and trying to get this agent to accept her, and the agency finally agreed to accept her as long as she took acting classes. And she is describing how she does not like the acting classes. She doesn't really like acting in general. The main thing that I think she's been excited about when it comes to that world is going there and getting the food that you get for free when you are there, and it just kind of gives you an idea of her childhood. And like I said, it is so heartbreaking, and as a mom myself, my heart really goes out to Jennette McCurdy, and I'm only like 50 some minutes into this book, so I'll leave that off there, and I'm gonna go clean and listen to some more, and I will come back on, and I'm really gonna try to make this as spoilery as possible, since my witching hour spoiler vlog was kind of a fail. So yes, be prepared for all the spoilers, and yeah, I will see you guys in a little bit. Okay guys, we've made it to chapter 14, so like 4 more chapters since I last updated you guys, and they're pretty fast. It's not like long or anything, but I was coming on here to update you. So first off, I just want to talk about how freaking sad this book is. Like, obviously it's sad for her and the way she was raised and what she had to go through, but also it's kind of sad for the mother, because you start to realize that her mother was sick and just didn't have the help for it. I know, like, that has become a more recent thing that people have been open to talking about, is mental health, and that it wasn't that big of a thing, you know, even when I was younger, back in the 90s. So, like, I get how it got there. It's just really sad to think about. And I wanted to come on here because Jennette just had a chapter where she's talking about how she's sitting in the waiting room waiting for her 4th callback for this show, and it's a big one that her mom really wants her to get, and she's very eager to please her mom in this book as a child. And she's sitting there, and they're Mormon, so she says, that's when I hear him for the first time, and she says the Holy Ghost, and he tells her to go to the bathroom, touch her waistband, 5 times, twirl around one foot, and do something else. And I'm wondering if this is a precursor to OCD, something that she develops as a result of this childhood that she's living. Obviously, I'm not sure yet, but obviously, I'm not positive. I'm not an expert on these things, and I do not have these things, so I can't even begin to guess. But in my mind, that is where I'm at. So I guess we shall see. But I wanted to come on here and update you guys and tell you. Yeah, I'm going to keep listening, and I will update you some more in a little bit. Okay, so I literally just updated you guys, but I had to come back on here because I just listened to chapter 15 and I had some thoughts, some rants. Chapter 15, she is talking about how her mom goes to Rite Aid and buys eyelash tint to make her eyelashes darker, bleach to give her highlights and the whitening strips, and that entire chaotic chapter was disgusting. To put, like, I'm pretty sure she's around 8-ish or 9-ish right now, and like, my daughter is gonna be 8 in a year, less than a year, and I can't imagine putting her through this. I'm legit heartbroken for Jennette McCurdy. I'm gonna keep listening, but I'm getting upset. Okay, so I just finished chapter 17, popping on here really quick again, and I believe that I was right. I believe the Holy Ghost voice that she is hearing, or that she thinks she's hearing, was the start of an OCD disorder. Her grandfather just mentioned to her mother that he thinks that she might have it, and of course her mother's like, oh no, she's perfect, and all of that. And then, she's thinking to herself, is it the Holy Ghost or is it OCD? And she comes to the conclusion that it is the Holy Ghost. Now, at this stage in the book, she is still very much just trying to make her mother happy, and that's all she wants. And I'm gonna have a lot to say about this book, aren't I? Okay, so hi, it's the next day. I kind of look a hot mess, but we had to have a kind of sit down to chat because I have made it to chapter like 52 or 53. I have made it to the point in the book where Jennette's mom died, and we have a lot to go over since I last updated you guys. One of the things that I wanted to talk about was about her anorexia and how it developed over the years. It starts out with thoughts and her OCD, and it slowly kind of morphs into her talking to her mom about it, and her mom teaching her calorie restriction. And I remember at one point in the book, she talks about how her mom put her and herself on a 1,000-calorie diet, and Jennette was like, oh, if I cut this in half, I'll only be eating half as much, which means that Jennette at one point was only eating 500 calories a day, which is almost nothing. Like, that's a meal. That's less than like a McDonald's meal or something like that. So it's just kind of crazy. There was also some uncomfortable scenes where she talks about how her mom showered her and gave her medical exams up until she was 16, and how uncomfortable that was, and I could only imagine. I did watch a Nightline interview where she talks about how she tried at one point to understand her mom's motivation, and it was just bad for her mental health. I am going to have a few different interviews of hers linked down below in the description of this video, and I highly suggest you go watch them, particularly the one with Drew Barrymore, because I feel like that interview was very honest and open, especially with Drew Barrymore's background with her parents and her way into child stardom, and I think that they had a lot to connect on. So I feel like that interview is very powerful, and you should definitely watch that, and I will put that down below. Another thing that we have started is she finally got the iCarly job, and she has started talking about the creator, who has pretty much been presumed to be Dan Schneider, or which we all pretty much know is Dan Schneider, and there is a whole slew of videos on YouTube about him and his weird obsessions with some of the actresses and actors of Nickelodeon, and I will link some of Sloane's videos down below, because that is one YouTuber I watch myself, and I think his content is amazing. So I will link some of his videos on Dan Schneider and Jennette McCurdy down below as well. What else have we? I know that there was so much I wanted to talk about, so much more. One thing I have found to be like a small light in this darkness that was her childhood is her friendship with Miranda Cosgrove. She has nothing but great things to say about her in this memoir, and I think their friendship is very beautiful and was very genuine, and I'm so glad for her that she had that in this time, and it was probably really helpful at points. But we have passed the point in the book where she talks about how she snuck off to Hawaii with her boyfriend. She ended up telling her mom she was going with her friend Cody, who is a gay guy, and so her mom wouldn't assume anything, and she ended up going with her boyfriend Joe at the time, and he is another story. I'm pretty sure Jennette was only like 18, 19 in this time period. The book does skip around from ages, so sometimes it's hard to pinpoint, but I'm assuming it was around there. I don't believe she was underage at this time, but Joe is a whole nother thing. He was a 30-year-old man who was in a relationship, I think for like 5 years when he met Jennette, and I think he ended up breaking up with his girlfriend for Jennette, and she ends up writing about that night in her memoir and about how she went to go stay the night with them, and he was freaking out and drunk and upset, like, what did I just do? You won't even have sex with me. And we go into a whole nother conversation on those kind of relationships. Now, I have said in the past, I have nothing to compare this to except for age gap romances. I will admit there are some that I have found perfectly acceptable and okay, so I can't condemn this relationship, but I have talked about how there are some age gap romances that make me genuinely uncomfortable and I end up not liking as much. And so, yeah. But she talks about how she snuck off to Hawaii with him and they're out paddleboarding and they see a paparazzi taking pictures and she freaks out. They run back to the hotel room and she's freaking out because she knows her mom is going to see. And she talks about a letter or an email that her mom sent her. And I am going to insert that clip right here.
I am so disappointed in you. You used to be my perfect little angel, but now you are nothing more than a little, all caps, floozy, all used up. And to think, you wasted it on that hideous ogre of a man. Add that to the list of things you are. Liar, conniving, evil. You look pudgier too. It's clear you're eating your guilt. Love, Mom. Or should I say Deb, since I am no longer your mother. P.S. Send money for a new fridge. Ours broke.
And so, yeah, like, that is so toxic and so unhealthy. And I think throughout this memoir, Jennette has only wanted to make her mom happy. She was in a very toxic relationship with her mother, and I think as she got older and after her mom passed, she was able to finally accept that and see that. And I haven't gotten to that point in this book yet, but I have nothing to compare it to. Like, I've never been the subject of parental abuse. I've never been in that situation. I do, however, so far in this book, I have to say, I don't talk about my past and stuff like that much on here, and I have no one to. But there are certain things that are not the same at all, but there are certain things in my past that when I read this memoir, it gets me very emotional, and I really appreciate Jennette McCurdy's honesty and openness while writing this. I think it's very beautiful, and I applaud her, and it's just very inspiring is all I will say. But like I said, we've made it to the point where her mom has passed away. So far after this, you can tell that she is kind of using alcohol as an escape in this period of her life, even maybe a little bit before her mom passed. But there was a point where she was in a coma, and then she got a bunch of brain tumors and was kind of almost brain dead, but not. And so you can tell that Jennette was struggling a lot with her eating habits. I think eating felt like an escape for her, and she would always be upset with herself afterwards. Also, with her alcohol, she doesn't mention it too much, but you do see that she starts to drink more. And after her mom passed, she invites a bunch of friends over to kind of keep herself busy and not think about it, to kind of help her. And she ends up kicking them all out at the end of the night, but I believe they went and got sushi or something like that, and she ends up going into the bathroom and trying to throw her food up, and she kind of opens up about how her calorie restriction led to anorexia, led to bulimia, and I think her thoughts and feelings on this, as somebody who has never struggled with that before, are very valid, and I appreciate the conversation so much. I can already almost tell you that this book is probably going to be a 5 stars, which is something because I don't normally rate memoirs, but I think she deserves it, and I'm so connected with this book already, just halfway through. Maybe halfway through. And I have so many emotions on everything. So I need to try to check in more, because I know I had a lot more to say, and I just kind of engrossed myself in listening to this audiobook, and I have not popped on as much as I probably should. So I'm sure there's some things that I will come back and talk about, but I really wanted to come on here and have a conversation about where I'm at in this book and how it is bringing out feelings in me. And I am so mad at myself already for making my favorites of the year video already, because this would have been number one already. Like, I can tell this would have been number one. This would have been my favorite book of the year. So I am making that statement now, so y'all know. But yeah, I'm gonna go make breakfast and listen to this some more, and I will update you guys in a little bit. Hey guys, what's up? It's been a minute. I think the last time I updated you was just a little bit before Christmas, and the last footage you saw was from Christmas Day, and now it is January 11th, and I have not finished this vlog, but because it's already filmed and mostly edited, we're just gonna go ahead and finish it out, because I really do want to post this vlog, because I loved this book, y'all. So much. Jennette's journey throughout this book was emotional, it was dark, and it was twisty, but she is also so inspiring. Like, I'm inspired by her and just how strong she is. I know sometimes people don't like being called that word after going through some traumatic events, but wow, okay, just wow. I think where I left off in this vlog, there wasn't a whole bunch after that, so more so, I think where I left off, her mom had already passed. She was having problems with anorexia and bulimia. She was dating a married guy, which did stop, and she realized that she didn't want that, which I'm so happy, because I didn't like that relationship. I actually don't think he was married. I think he was just in a relationship when he met Jennette. But she did go on to meet another guy. I can't remember his name in the book, but they had quite a relationship, and I think she was happy with him, and he ended up talking her into getting help with her eating disorder, and she starts to seek out that treatment, and it's a long process. And then eventually in the journey, she starts to see a therapist. Now, this part is really interesting. Like I said, she starts to see a therapist, and she starts telling the therapist about her childhood, her upbringing, and her therapist basically tells her that's abuse. You were abused, and she gets kind of upset and quits therapy because she's like, no, you're not going to tell me this. This is ridiculous. Mom loved me. And it goes on like that for a little bit. There is some stuff that happens with her boyfriend too, but I'm not going to get into that. I think really her going through therapy and her having her own truths and writing this memoir is really what this is about. And she eventually finds another therapist and starts working through her issues with her mother and coming to terms with the fact that she was abused. And that's kind of where this ends, is when she is set on the healing path. Also, towards the end of this book, she finds out that her father, who was kind of not really present, like he was there, but he wasn't like mentally present that much in her childhood. I don't think him and her mom got along the best, but she ends up finding out that her father is not her real father, and she does end up meeting her biological father, and I think they start to talk. Like, it's not crazy. It's just like lunch or coffee or something like that. But yes, I don't think there's anything else that really happened. It's been a few weeks since I read this, but like I said, it was so inspiring, and I'm so happy I read this before the end of the year. This was definitely by far my favorite book of the year. Even a few weeks later, I still feel that way. That was my favorite book of 2022, and I'm really happy I did a spoiler vlog on it. I think it kind of needed it with the conversations and stuff that this book revolves around. But yeah, this vlog is already so long, so I'm going to end that here. I kind of just rushed through at the end of the book, and I am so sorry. But if you liked this video, don't forget to hit the like button and comment down below if you've read this book, if you're interested in reading this book, what your thoughts on this book were if you did read it, or just comment down below a little pink heart. We'll do pinks because the cover of this book. If you don't have anything to say, just so I know you made it to the end of this very long video. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe. It really helps out my channel a lot. And don't forget to hit the little bell notifications so you get notified every single time I post. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.